Good morning, YouTube. So I just finished up loading the trailer. I'm just waiting on Jacob. But today I wanted to talk about 3 things that has helped me as a lawn care. So I think I'm just going to title it 3 things that new lawn care providers should stop doing. Because I'm sure if I was doing these things, I'm sure a lot of other new lawn care guys or providers are doing that as well. But a little recap. So I did have to rent a U-Haul, post a picture, a U-Haul truck, because my AC went out again, which pretty much sucked because my mechanic shop is pretty much only open Monday through Friday, and I'm only off normally Saturday and Sunday. Sometimes Friday if we are ahead of schedule, but typically we'll get rained out one day and then I'm having to work Friday, like a half day or whatever. So normally what I'll do is I'll take it to my mechanic. He'll work on it on the weekends and then he'll give it back to me Sunday night or Sunday morning. That way come Monday I'm ready to go. So I've taken it to him twice. He's replaced a few things, a few valves, and normally he'll be good for like a week or two, and then the freon leaks out and I'm having to take it back to him. So I think I've taken it to him 2 or 3 times, and pretty much the last time I took it to him, I told him this is it. If he's not able to fix it, I'm going to take it to my mechanic shop, and that's exactly what happened. So I had to rent out the U-Haul truck. I rented it out for a day because they gave it, my mechanic shop gave it back to me the next day. And I'm trying to remember, it was like 130 something. If I find the receipt, I'll post a picture, but if not, it was like 135. And pretty much I drove 110 miles and whatnot. But that's pretty much it. Sorry, my neighbors were walking, so I had to go say hi to them. But yeah, it was 130 for one day. I drove 110 miles. No issues. It was a 2024 1500 Silverado single cab, so it was nice. It drove a little bit smoother than mine. And pretty much I went with U-Haul. The only bad thing about U-Haul is that you're driving like, a giant billboard for them. So it's like one of those things where you do look a little bit silly. Or in my mind, I was like, I really don't want to be driving a U-Haul truck. But you could have gone, I could have gone to Enterprise or Turo and rented out a truck, but then it would have been more expensive. And frankly, like the one time I rented from Enterprise, they never have their shit together. Or I've rented a couple times and it just seems like every time I go, they don't have their shit together. I normally wait a couple hours, and then when it's my turn, they're like, oh, we actually don't have a truck. Would you like a sedan or SUV? And I was like, no, I need a truck I don't tell them, but I need a truck to tow my equipment and keep working and making that cash and whatnot. But anyways, I got the truck back. It's working somewhat good. I'm actually going to drop it off this Friday again back to the mechanic shop. Pretty much the passenger side AC blows ice cold air, and then the driver's side, which is my side, blows like cool air. So I'm going to take it back to them, have them fix it, and hopefully that should be it. I did get new back brakes. So that was $1,300 altogether, and it sucks because my mechanic charged me like $600 for him to try to fix it, and he didn't. So that was pretty much just money down the drain. I did get front brakes, which was another $400 a couple weeks ago, and now we'll see how much they charge me for whatever's going on now. So it's just I'm just bleeding money. Property number 1, got Jacob mowing back there. This one normally takes like 25 minutes. It's not too big for 2 people. Whew. Yeah, so I'm bleeding money left and right, plus another of my other expenses from my rental properties. That's a little spot right there. But we never mow around water meter lids. We always got a weed eat, so that's why Jacob left this for me, which is, what he's supposed to do. Let me hit this real quick. And done. So the first thing you need to stop doing is texting your clients. I've said this in my other videos. If you guys follow me on TikTok, I've made a video about this, but I kind of wanted to dive in a little bit deeper into it in this video. But pretty much when I first started off, I was texting every single client that I landed. Hey, I'll be there tomorrow to do, or to service your property. And pretty much at that point, you're giving the ball to your client, and it's kind of their court, because they can easily go outside their yard and be like, let me check my yard because Manny just texted me. And they'll be like, it can wait another week. And then you'll get hit with, hey Manny, actually, well, let's skip next week. We haven't really gotten that much rain. Check back next week. And if you keep doing that, or clients are going to do that, especially when you start off. And if you keep doing that, you are losing money. Especially where I'm at, the growing season's only 8, maybe 9 months out of the year, and typically the last month we're just mulching up leaves. So there's a saying, when the music's going on, or when the music, I gotta look it up, but something with like, when the music's going, keep dancing. And pretty much you gotta get what you can during the growing season, because come winter, from November till March, my phone does not ring. If it rings, it's very rare. And pretty much I know during that time, I'm not going to be out working that much, because where I'm at, we don't get snow. It gets cold enough, but not where we get snow. So I can't offer like snow removal, but it gets cold enough to like kill or make the grass go dormant and whatnot. So number one, stop texting your clients. The only exception is if I have someone older, because those older folks love to pay with checks or with cash. So I gotta text them the day before so that they write that check, or if they have to run to the bank and get cash or whatever. There's a couple that do that where I'll text them, be like, hey, I'll be there tomorrow, and pretty much letting them know like, hey, make sure you have payment ready for me, please. Or if they have dogs, if they have a back gate and if they normally leave their dogs out. I think I have like 2 that I'll text like, hey, I'll be there tomorrow because I need to make sure that they put their dogs up. Everyone else, I'm at like 75 clients. So I would say probably like I text like 5 or 6 clients. Everyone else, I tell them the same thing. I'll be there bi-weekly, weather permitting. I try to aim to be there the same day, but don't expect me the same day because there's a lot of factors and whatnot. So I did get a couple comments about like the automated messages where you kind of like click on their names and it sends like a vast text message to all your clients and pretty much saying like, hey, we're on this, just a heads up, you're on our schedule for tomorrow. Please pick up any dog toys, any dog poop, any obstacles that'll be in our way. And then that way, essentially, we're not, having to work harder. And I do get that, but I still think that's like an unnecessary step for us. And it's, it might take you like 5 minutes to do all that. But if you're doing that 5 minutes, five days out of the week, that's still like 25 to 30 minutes that you're taking out of your time to do that. And it's like, is that really necessary? And in my opinion, no. That's why I tell them, I go there every other week, expect us, and if they need to be serviced a little bit earlier, or if they have a family event or whatever, to give me a call or a text, and I'll make sure I'm there, that specific day for those rare occasions. But if they're nitpicky about their day, like, oh, I need you to service my property on Fridays so that during the weekend it looks good, then I'd be like, I mean, if I'm in that area, yes, but 9 times out of 10, I'm not in that area that day. And then pretty much I just tell them like, I don't think we're a good fit for you, and yada, yada, yada. So, I mean, I don't know. It just depends to you what obviously it's your, what do I know? I'm still a new lawn care, but I'm just trying to give y'all, how I think and what's worked for me and what hasn't. And it just makes my life easier to, to sit down and plan my schedule and not have to text them and be like, oh, wait, Richard likes his lawn mowed on Fridays and it's Thursday and things like that, So it just gives you more flexibility on your schedule where you can prepare more, and if you're going to get rained out sooner or later. So it just makes it easier for you to just kind of like manipulate your schedule and kind of train your clients like, hey, you signed up for bi-weekly services. We'll be there bi-weekly, but I just can't promise you what day. So this is property number 3. So tip number 2, so in one of my earlier videos, a lot of guys were saying this to me, and I was like, I know, it's on my list. But like I was saying in my other videos as well, when you start off, you can't really be picky, because when you start off, you just got to be grateful for whatever you get, even if it is, one cut every 3 or 4 weeks. because you just need to get the ball rolling, and you just got to bite your tongue. But you need a card on file or a bill at the beginning of the month. That way, you could do it where you bill after you service the property. You can partner up with either Jobbers or QuickBooks. They give you that option or that feature. Yardbook is another big one where it's free and you're able to store the credit card on file. This just eliminates all the like plain tag with your clients, because then you got to text them the day before to make sure they have a check or cash ready, and then you got to knock on their door after you service them, and then you're gonna get a handful of clients that they want to come out and talk to you, they want to walk the property, and it's all unnecessary things that clients want to do. And at the end of the day, this is about time. How many yards can we do in a day? It all comes down to time and numbers. And when you have that card on file, you can just charge the card after you service your property. What I started doing for new clients is that I bill at the beginning of the month, and then that covers the whole month. And then that way, if we are in a drought, they still want me to come out, because they're like, well, I already paid for it, so you better come out here and pretend like you're working, if anything. And then at that point, they just want to see you out and service your property, even though we're not doing anything. Luckily, this has been a rainy summer, so our yards are constantly growing like crazy. But yeah, either have a card on file or bill at the beginning of the month, or if you do want to bill after each service, that's what I was doing for the first half of this season. After each service, I would email or text them the invoice. They click on the link, and then it sends them through a portal where they can use a credit card or save their bank information. And I just tell them that I don't have access to that information, because some people get a little skeptical about you, but I just let them know up front, like I can't see your information even if I wanted to. Now I just send them the bill for the month, and then they pay it, and boom, we're done. Property number 4. So I trimmed like those 3 shrubs over there. And that's the one thing that I like when I have that second set of hands, is that I can focus on those little details. I'm not gonna charge them more. I mean, it literally took me like 3 minutes, if that, because I have all the tools. Dang. This is a pretty big hill. This one I cut at 4 inches. You can still see a few bald spots. Or not bald spots, but brownish. Whew, I'm winded. But as I was saying, when I have that second set of hands, I can focus on the little details and not charge my clients. And in their mind, they're like, damn, man, he didn't have to do that. And you just build long-lasting relationship. This one's a newer account, and like I said, eventually you'll get to the point where you can price a little bit higher, and you're like, if I get it, great. If not, then it is what it is. But that one, it's $80 each visit. Whew. Excuse me. It's hard when it's hot and it's on an incline like that. So last tip / advice for you guys is stop allowing your clients run your business for you. I kind of touched a little bit on this in my last video. So you need to either put your foot down or have that conversation with these clients that are constantly asking to be skipped, because at the end of the day, we're getting the short end of the stick when they ask us to be skipped. Now, I get it. If we're in a drought for like a month when we haven't had any rain, fine. I'll skip you, but it should be left up to our discretion, because at the end of the day, it's our job to watch out for our client's yard. And if I'm literally just adding stress and leaving tire marks, or just leaving like hot streaks or heat or like wheel streaks, I'll post a picture. At that point, I'm damaging my client's yard more than anything, more than helping it. And I'm just doing that to get a paycheck. So, you kind of have to pick your battles. So, you're going to learn from your mistakes. But if they're constantly asking to be skipped for them to save a few pennies or a few dollars, then you have to drop them or be like, hey, I can skip you one time, but moving forward, if you skip again, I'm dropping you. Because when you get skipped, especially on a bi-weekly, that turns into a monthly where you're going once a month, and they're expecting to be charged the same, and they don't realize that it's going to take you 20 to 30 minutes longer, and you're putting more wear and tear on your mowers. You're taking longer. Instead of a 30-minute visit, it turns into an hour visit, and you're losing money, especially when you have employees and whatnot. But anyways, Those are the 3 tips I got for you guys. Let me know some other tips or advice or feedbacks from guys that are killing it out there. Like always, like, subscribe. I appreciate y'all. So I will throw in an extra piece of advice that I just got from one of my first clients. I pretty much serviced 2 of her rental properties, and she texted me last week if I can stop by and give her a bid for her house. We were talking, and pretty much she said that she hired me, and this was like 2 years ago. She hired me because out of 8 clients or 8 other lawn care people that she called, I was the only one that returned her call. And what would have happened is if I didn't return her call, eventually someone else would have answered. And then at that point, she's just fed up because she keeps calling people and she's not getting any response. She would have hired the next person that pretty much would have answered their phone call. So you do have to be proactive. Either shoot them a text message or call them back or leave them a voicemail. Because, a lot of the times I don't hear my phone. Now I don't hear my phone because we're out here working, and, this mower or tools and equipment, they're just so loud that you really don't hear them, hear your phone ringing. And then long story short, she she referred us to this house, which is way down, down the driveway. What I'm trying to say is I've gotten so much work and essentially so much money from her just because I returned her call. And when you start off, even on the weekends, I'll answer my phone, and typically I'll try to go that same day to give them a quote, because ultimately I want to land those clients, because I'm not fully booked. But I know that once I'm fully booked and I'm kind of nitpicking my clients, I'm going to stop answering my phone, or I got to be like, okay, what's going to happen? I need to send out a second crew. Do I even want to get that big? And they'll give me options. But you definitely want to be proactive when you get a missed call or a phone call. And a lot of the times I get scam calls, so I just end up hanging up. But every once in a while, it is a client that is asking for a quote and whatnot. But anyways,